Hey, so this video is around an educational piece on the power of habits for ourselves, our own benefits, to be able to really understand how these habits work and why is it that we do certain things and can't do the healthier options. Okay, so let's break it down. Now, habits tend to work in three key stages. So the first part is the cue, the second part is the behavior and or action, and the third part is the reward. Okay, so if we take that into perspective and think about a specific example and how that might work. Now, let's use it in a work environment. Okay, so if we think about a conversation, an instant conversation you have with your line manager or a colleague that could be very unpleasant and unpleasant experience with that, right? So what tends to happen is that's a little bit of stress being caused, and so you're falling back into your habit of where the next step, which is step 2, takes place, and that's the behavior slash action. So that could mean that, you know what, I'm actually going to go and just feel better, to kind of just take that time to just relax, go away and have a pint, or go and have a donut or McDonald's or whatever it is, that kind of stuff, right? That little bit of unhealthy choice there. Then that moves into the third part, which is the reward, the feel-good feeling, okay? And the reason why I highlighted all those unhealthy options is because it's what we tend to go to for the majority of us humans. And there's a reason to that, okay? It's not just things I'm saying out of nowhere, okay? It's based on research. So the reason behind that is because there's a chemical which is released when we, for everything we do actually, that's very pleasant, that feel-good feeling, and that's the dopamine effects, dopamine. So, but the way dopamine works is quite interesting, that when we're looking at the unhealthy options, let's say the drinking, having a beer, okay, to just kind of calm yourself down, relax, for the people that drink alcohol, or for the people that do not drink alcohol, for example, you're going to have McDonald's or something quite unhealthy option. And so what that's doing is that you're getting that instant reward, okay, so that instant feel-good feeling, and that's the dopamine being released as a chemical from your body. So that's why that's happening. And what happens later on is once you've got that instant reward, you think that if you have more drinks and so on, you're gonna feel better, but actually that doesn't happen. So the dopamine is limited in that front, regardless of how much you have. But then what happens later is actually it starts to balance itself down, and it goes beyond the balance, where you then suffer later on after that effect. And so you're trying to balance yourself, which is not very good for your body as well. It's the same thing as why we have hangovers. So your body's trying to kind of get back in balance from that feel-good feeling, and it just goes way over the top where it needs to kind of bring itself back, and hence that part is, while you're trying to balance it, you're basically suffering that hangover. Okay, so I feel like we've gone a bit way too south on that, but essentially these are the reasons why you get that instant reward on these unhealthy habits. Whereas if we look at the healthy habits, or whatever unpleasant situation you may have, let's say the next behavior action is actually, you know what, you're going to go for a walk, you're going to go for a swim, you're going to go to the gym. Now, the reason why it's harder is because we have to really work for that little bit of reward, that feel-good feeling, okay? And that's simply the way that our habits work, and why it's really difficult for majority of people to maintain those healthy, good habits over the bad habits that give you instant reward. And that same goes with social media too, where you get that instant reward by flicking through screens, and at the end of it, you know, it's where it's just your brain is fogged, and that's where your brain also now needs time to balance that. So hopefully that's been educational for yourself and have a clear understanding of how those works.